invite our next speaker, Fotis Antonopoulos from Greece. And Fotis, I have a big problem. Yes, I have a big problem, Fotis, and I'm going to tell you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
You can hear me.
I can hear you very well. You know what's the problem? I ate too much yesterday. I'm a bit curvy. And always my team says, don't be like that, etc. I don't know if you understand me.
I'll share a secret with you as well.
Yes.
I visited that digital tavern of yours, in the island, and I had so much moussaka and ouzo that I came back with a Greek accent. Apologies to anyone.
No, I think you have a Greek accent because Fotis is one of the most experienced people I know in e-commerce generally. For sure, the top professionals, among the top 3 professionals I know in e-commerce in Greece. Very inspiring, and he took a decision in the last couple of years, 2 years, to join an ePharmacy, to pharmakion.gr. And I think, Fotis, you're going to be part of the transformation that's going to take place in our country. And I wanted to invite him to close the first day. He's the best one to present after everybody has had lunch and they are a bit sleepy. He has the way to excite us, but with tremendous respect. I would like to give you the floor because Fotis always open, has a way to share knowledge in a practical way on how you can push your ePharmacy straight to the top from his technology and UX advice. So the experience, it's everything nowadays in e-commerce, I know. And Fotis, we are ready to have the experience from you. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Panayotis. Thanks a lot, and thanks everyone for joining. I've seen it's delegates from over 60 countries, if I'm not wrong. So this is the only time in my life I can say, hello, Earth. Who am I, in brief, apart from what Panayotis said? And this is my name, Fotis, very simple. And this is my vanity. I always like to point at myself when I'm talking to conferences, as you can see. But most importantly, I'm the general manager of the TFM group. We operate 3 web properties and 4 physical brick and mortar pharmacies. We also operate our logistics center, which is very well equipped. We are leading currently the online branded searches when it comes to the pharmacy. This is where we are. And according to the very useful tool for us, at least retail audit, like Panayotis mentioned in the beginning, from Convert Group, this is our market share, which we believe it's quite nice to have, actually. So that's it for such a small introduction. And this is me. And I grew up, like most of you, I guess, with a belief that if you actually mix a bat and a man, as the words say, you get Batman. Unfortunately for us, though, life tends to be a bit strange. And when it slaps us in the face, it's very painful. Because in reality, if you mix a bat and a man, what you get COVID. And I guess almost all of us have been in this situation when it was announced by the WHO that this is going to be a huge pandemic. And those couple of years have been years of great uncertainty in a way. We didn't know what to expect, what's going to come from now on. Is it just short? Is it a midterm problem? Is it going to affect us? Is it just a spike? Or is it just the new reality? We have to adapt to it. So we started within the company and everyone being worried in the beginning. But I asked from all the guys in the management team to start focusing and trying to understand what's going to happen from now on. And as we were constantly discussing and trying to understand what's the current situation we're living in, someone popped up with a great idea. That's good news. Let's focus as much as possible on sex. Which in a way, that's customer experience for some of you dirty minds. So what's customer experience? I'm not going to analyze this huge graph, which is actually very useful. I'm going to be much more simplistic. I'm going to, in a way, express what we do believe in the company. It's a good customer experience. And to our minds, customer experience is trying to matching our customer expectations. What do they believe they want from us and how can deliver to them? And to achieve that equation, to match that expectation, we have to fulfill three basic needs as we see it. The first need is to satisfy their trust, that we are offering all the time the best choice that they want. The second sense is how we can fulfill their faith, that we will not disappoint them with our services. And I do believe one of the most important is the commitment that we are always doing our best to assist them when in need. So by matching those needs, we do believe that we get a good customer experience. But if we're going to be champions on what we do, we started thinking of how we could shift this equation to offering something much better on what our users were actually expecting. And if I'm allowed to say that, our strategy became on how we can increase the perceived value that our customers get in exchange in relation to what they actually pay, which it's a good step to building your own loyalty. So we tried to analyze many characteristics that the new era is bringing on, and we focused most importantly on two. We thought to ourselves that if we can manage to be champs, to master ourselves in these two main characteristics, we can do some good jobs. And the first one, Daniela mentioned in the beginning, has to do with the content, has to do with the message itself. And there's a huge gap on what we say, what we communicate, and what our visitors and our consumers are actually interested in. And all this is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And this is actually a scientific problem. It's called the curse of knowledge. It's not a problem of our era. It's an old problem. What's the curse of knowledge? Don't be terrified with that. Imagine this horizontal line, which is the message. And on this side of the line, it's where our customers stand. It's their knowledge, which is very limited, actually. And on this side of the line, it's where we stand, with our expertise, with our knowledge, many things in our companies. And in between, there's this huge gap of communication that we have to fulfill in order for both sides to communicate better. And unfortunately, there's only one way to do that. That's the only way. We have to go to our consumer with a much more structured and better to understand content. So we started testing these ideas. Can we do something about this content? So we asked from all our associates on our blog. We have a blog that we publish articles and many news and stuff, interesting stuff. So we asked from all our associates, from doctors, physicians, beauty experts, to try to, in a way, be more simplistic on what they write. In a way, try to communicate with a child and see whether that had an impact. And it actually had an impact. People started consuming content that was much more easier to understand. So that triggered us to starting to do more things, trying to understand what can we do now. We have a lot of huge amounts of data. How can we structure all that data to deliver much easier to consume, much better content to our visitors and customers and everyone? So we started building to be more practical, changing and mapping all as much needs as possible when someone would come to an online pharmacy. We started developing medical needs, personal improvement needs, diet needs, all kinds of stuff. And to that, we also added shopping guides, we added assistant tools. We also added lists, top brands, top searches, top products, everything. Everything structured, as much as structured as possible for our user to be able to find it and consume it. Second level, since we had the content and we found our ways on how to present it, was how we could make users to find things much easier. And when we talk about usability, that's a very easy thing to do. All you have to do is just download this holy grail of e-commerce optimization, just 91 points, apply them to your website, and you'll end up like that. That's the best way to achieve all your targets, all your KPIs. Definitely not. User experience is very important when it comes to e-commerce. You can't touch the products, you can smell the products, so you have to offer them different ways to get them. Look and feel are very important. But when it comes to web stores, to e-commerce, we do believe that usability is the most crucial one, which is the way and how easy it's for your customers and your consumers to find your products. So we started analyzing more than 60 of the largest and the e-commerce champions globally to try to see and identify how they were producing and how, in a way, they were delivering the content. For example, this is the Walgreens, one of the largest pharmacies, and we identified and mapped everything. And we took all that data and we shifted from this is the old product page we had, which is a bit sloppy, you can see it, non-visible call to action, irrelevant banners, and all that stuff. And we transformed it to something like this. Much clear content, more photograph, clear call to action buttons, and everything. And to that, we added as much content as possible. Characteristics, needs, combinations, reviews, related products, upsales, cross-sales, everything we could add. And as a cherry, the topping to the cake, we also added personalized pricing to our visitors, which had actually a good impact. And as once Gordon Gekko said, when you reach your targets, great can be good. So we started exploring more and more what can we do and what can we offer to our visitors. And this is the typical funnel of the all-time funnel. And to present it in an e-commerce way, what we were trying to understand was how this specific segment performs, which in a way is one of the most important segments in our web properties. It's one step before taking an action, before buying the products. So we try to identify segments that were within this mid-funnel. And you can find many of them, one of which is, for example, those who use your search tool. And if you go to your analytics and see how people perform when not using your search tool and how they perform when they're using your search tool, you'll be enormously surprised. For example, only 50% of our visitors use our website. This is just a case for 15 days we're tracking. But when it comes to more qualitative data, for example, the behavior on the website, you'll see that everything changes. And if we go to conversions, we'll see even better numbers. I mean, more than half of our revenues comes from visitors that are using our search tool, with 4 times better conversion rate than the average of our website. And you can find many segments that fulfill all those criteria, which actually it's mind-blowing when we discover such very useful information. So apart from building on our search tool, which have focused a lot and we're using as much recommendation and AI techniques behind it, we thought, is there any way that we can identify techniques and tools that fulfill this mid-funnel, but in a way they can be replicated to the funnel above, to the top funnel? And we started thinking and testing and identifying various tools. And the best one we found was starting building wizards. I'm not talking about Gandalf the wizard, but in a way, product wizards. If you try to understand the patterns that the users that search have, in a way that they have in their minds decided when they want to buy, they search for it, they put it in your basket, and then they buy it. So we tried in a way to replicate that. For example, on our website, we have almost 700 sunscreens, choice paralysis. So by clicking 3 just buttons, you will end up with less than 30, which is much easier, and we have developed the funnel for you. And it went fantastic. I mean, I cannot share the results, but it was actually very performing. To all that, just to spice things up, we added all the necessary e-commerce science, which is actually very important. We wanted to validate our hypothesis, so we started A/B testing everything. We started click mapping, scroll mapping, hit mapping, everything on our website. And most important, we started tracking our Net Promoter Score to see whether those changes had an effect. And that was our main content strategy of how we can create content and deliver to the users. The second one has to do with this right now era we're living in. Everyone wants everything right now. You want to see a movie, you go to Netflix and you see it right now. You want to listen to music, it's easy. You go to Spotify, listen to your music. You want your food, your groceries delivered, you have solutions like Delivery Hero, Deliveroo, Gorillas delivered for you. Even dating. I mean, if you want to date right now, you go to Tinder or Facebook date and you can date. It's as simple as that. So this now urgency that's starting to build, we do believe it's creating a new evolution when it comes to retail. Allow me to briefly explain that. You have the first generation of traditional retail, we all know that, an individual or the family going with a car to the store, and they can pick from the selection that's within the store. Most important, pricing and discounts mattered. Then we have the shift to the second generation, e-commerce, on which you have a delay on delivery, but in a way you exchange that with a much greater catalog, which stacked in some mega warehouses. Yet, pricing and discounts really matter. And now we're living this new third generation of commerce coming in, the Q-commerce or quick commerce, that people want everything delivered within an hour. And only the essential, they don't need huge catalogs of products. What's most important is that we see a huge shift from pricing to speed. And this very critical factor, we've seen companies trying to cover it through the last mile. This crazy scooter, I don't know how we call it, of FedEx, they're trying to deliver parcels. We've seen a robot solution. We've seen all these drone solutions. We probably see some of these post-apocalyptic, I don't know, warehouse zeppelins at some times in the future. Who knows? So we tried to match that need, and we created and we developed our own fleet. Not only that, we also added last mile optimization tools to try to become more efficient and deliver with as fast as possible. And in order to make our lives a bit more challenging within the organization, we decided to set us a target that within the end of the year, we will be delivering more than 30% of our orders within 30 minutes. That's a huge challenge, and we're up to it. So, to finish things up, some of the results of what we did the couple past of years. Our web traffic and our session tripled, which is nice to see. But most important, those things about the content and all the loyalty we started developing, we've seen our returning users tripled as well. Nowadays, more than half of our visitors are returning users. When it comes to our conversion rate, it actually went pretty well. But if you're sitting in a C-level position or in managerial position like I do, most important is this. Our revenues are going to the roof. So Fotis and everyone else at the office can have a small reason to celebrate. That's it for me. Thanks a lot for your time. You can find me on LinkedIn, or if you have any questions, since I don't know who have times, you can email me at i@fa.gr, which I do believe is the smallest email account in the world. Thanks a lot. Thanks, everyone.
Fotis, a great experience. I've been seeing, I think, your presentations for how much? 10 years, 12 years?
Don't shout it.
Don't sound, yes, you were in kindergarten.
We're getting old.